Now, let's speak to my colleague Latif Idris, who is in the community. Latif, so 2 days now since the clashes, 1 day since the military descended upon them. What exactly is the mood of the residents in the community today?
Yeah, Kojo, right now, we just left the main community of Farsa moments ago. And driving through the town, I can tell you that there are no young men in the community. All of them have fled. We are told they are now seeking refuge behind a mountain in this area, and that is where we are right now. We are just beneath the mountain, and we are told all the young men in this community fled the main Farsa community and are now behind the mountain. That is where they are seeking refuge. They sleep there, and then in the morning they find their way out to come back home to see their family and then go back to the mountainside. That is what is happening right now. I'm at the scene where it all unfolded yesterday, and I can count 1, 2, 3, 4 vehicles that have been burnt to ashes. They've been burnt completely. I can also find a canopy that has been brought down, and gas, and some containers, cement, parts of which have been broken, and the floor has also been burnt, and town is deserted. You would find nobody. There's literally nobody in the community. The first ones you see are the women and their children who are trying to survive in the sense of their husbands and brothers.
Latif, if you can hear me, perhaps your phone is in your pocket and something keeps pressing the buttons. There's a loud interference of beeping while you're speaking. If you can check that for us, please. Right, okay, so we're trying to reconnect with Latif Idris. So you're currently looking at, well, images of the impact of these clashes, damaged property on the land which we believe to be at the center of the dispute. 2 military officers were indeed assaulted, allegedly by residents of the Farsa community. And as a result, there was a heavy military presence in that community yesterday. We hear stories of arrests of certain individuals who are suspected to have participated in the assault of the military officers and so forth. But today, the day after the military descended on them, we now are starting to learn the impact on this on the community, the impact of this on the community. So let's speak to the Member of Parliament for the area, who joins us on the phone right now, and that is Sophia Akweku. Madam, thank you for your time. Good afternoon. So tell us, this is unprecedented in your area, I'm sure. But what are you learning about the situation with the military? Have they left?
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to your listeners. I think this morning there has been some calm. The community that they started from, that's Farsa. As of this morning, most of the military men left. I think they started moving away from last night. And so Farsa, Kofipe, they left last night. And then this morning, around 8:30, most of them left Domiabra, leaving a few hanging around. But I think by 12 midday, almost all of them have left. And I've cross-checked all the areas. I think that they don't see any military men around anymore. And I think there's some calm and serenity.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, now, of course, you are a Member of Parliament. Have you been able to discover or determine whether these military were there on a national assignment? Were they deployed there, commanded to be there by the military apparatus? Or was it a rogue unit simply seeking vengeance for the assault on their colleagues?
Well, I think I'm really doubting a bit if they are really military men because of their actions on the ground. So on my interview with most of the media houses, I kept on pleading with the highest hierarchy of the military that they should come out and let us know if they really deploy those people. And then I was also asking that I wanted to know the request of the chief that made them deploy the people, because I know there's no, let's say there's no war, there's no fight, there's no quarrel, there's nothing. It's just a peaceful protest that the people did a press conference and they wanted to take pictures. So I don't know where these military guys were coming from. And when the two of them were arrested, one openly mentioned my name and said, Madam Sophia, he spoke in Ghana, Olemi in the Domiabra. Don't you know me? I come from Domiabra. I'm not a military man. But the other person was insisting that he was a military person. So you could see that he was not touched. His uniform was intact. Nobody touched him because he said he was a military man, even though he didn't show his card. But the other person said he wasn't a military person. Now, coming back to the truth that was brought to the area, I know military people are very disciplined. So if somebody is in his house or in her room with the gate locked, walled, no military person will jump the wall, use his legs to force the door open and move in to search the room. And that thing went on in almost every community. They forced people's doors. People were sleeping in their room. They rushed on them. People were cooking. They kicked their food and poured it on the floor. Beating children. I don't think military men would do that. That is why that is why I keep on insisting that I was asking the hierarchy of the military and the police. Secondly, if you said here for Operation Calm Line or something, where was the police? Because anytime there's anything like this, they normally deploy the police first. If persuasion fails and maybe resistance becomes serious, then they deploy the soldiers as enforcement. But looking at what happened, there was no police on it. There was no police anywhere. Even the police that were very close to Donfase, that is the Kotoku police, none of them, nobody came around. Nobody came around. So, believe me, my brother, I find it difficult to believe that these people were military people.
Now, madam, you were talking about an interaction with the two individuals who were assaulted. So does this mean you were there for the assault or you arrived afterwards? Tell us the circumstances under which these two people got beaten up, resulting in the photographs we've seen.
I can't really tell. But looking at the distance from where we were with the chief and the distance from where the chief and the community were, it was very, it's a vast, it's far. So when they started rushing with the shooting, we left. But whatever happened, I can't tell. But when we arrived at the school compound where we did the press conference, then the youth were coming with the two soldiers. They were coming with the two soldiers. It was far. So they were walking on the street, coming with the two soldiers. So they brought them to the chief on the back.
Right.
The chief should interrogate them while they were on the land and were they on official duty. I have some videos with one of the military guys who was talking that agents of land are we talking about.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. We're listening.
You know, Pano electoral area is there. This guy is claiming all of the constituency, the 13 electoral area, but he has started grading about 3 or 4 communities. And he has sold one, they have a rock, a big rock, in one of the villages called Treble. According to the community, he has sold the place, and he has started grading all the places. So looking at the vast land, if I'm not lying, this should be giving us about 200 to 250 acres.
Right.
Say it again.
No, I'm listening to you.
Yes, this should be about maybe 150 to 200 or 250 acres of land that has been graded already. and they are winning sand on it, they are winning gravel on it, and they claim they are coming to build state.
Right.
So my point is that even if the chief Dapejahini has some judgment on the land, at least he should serve the community.
Right.
He should have served the stakeholders, serve the MPE, serve the MP, serve the community people, and even pay some around in the community. But there was nothing like that.
Right. We'll come back to you in a moment, Madam Makweko. Let me quickly reconnect with Lateef Idris, who is giving us live reportage from the location. Lateef, you have been attempting to track the youth of this community, the men of this community who have all gone into hiding. You have been told that they are somewhere at the foot of a mountain. What have you learned? Lateef, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, Kojo. So I am currently standing on the contentious piece of land. We are told it measures about 100 to 200 acres. And on this particular land, Kojo, I can count not less than 4 vehicles that have been burnt by the youth of the Farsa community during the clash they had with some men from the military. So I am looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 vehicles that have been burnt, a generator set, and a canopy, a makeshift been burnt, and all what is left in the community, Kodo, are women and their babies. The men, all the able-bodied men have fled the community. If you are looking at the mountain, is the mountain I was talking about. Right now, you are looking at it in your shot. We are told the young men who fled the Farsa community are all seeking refuge behind this mountain. Now, if you climb and go behind this mountain, it's taking you to somewhere, Amasaman, and in Sawam. And so that is where the young men have fled to Sawam, and are waiting and hoping that the military will leave Farsa so at least they can come and reunite with their families. At least for now, we know that the military men have left the community after retrieving one of the guns. We are just learning, Kodo, that in fact 2 guns were seized from the military men who were assaulted by the civilian of this community. Now we understand one of the guns has been retrieved, and there is one more that we are told is still within the community. That is what some people have told us. We cannot independently verify. Apart from the gun, we are told one walkie-talkie belonging to the military has also gone missing, and is also still within the Farsa community, yet to be retrieved by members of the military. I'll continue with the destruction that has been caused by the youth of this community, but I have 2 ladies here. One has a baby with her, and one is also standing alone. They are one of the few people we've met within the Farsa.
Lateef, just before we engage these residents, let me just check with you. In our conversation with the Member of Parliament, she was suggesting that residents are returning to the community. But you are right there, so you tell us. Are you seeing any evidence of a return of these residents who fled?
Kojo, what I can report is that Farsa community is largely back to the community, but largely it remains a ghost town. Most of them are still out of the community for fear of being brutalized by the military. At least now, word has gone out that the military has left the community. You would appreciate that. That will give them some confidence. The community. You would appreciate that. That will give them some confidence and hope to return to their homes, to live life as usual. But they can tell us how the community looked like before the assault on the military and the young men living in the community. First of all, you give us...
Can I speak?
No problem.
My name is Mary Tete.
Yeah. So, Mary, tell us about where is your husband?
Hey. My husband, hey.
If you can look into camera and...
people not see.
The mountain. Why is he there?
Because they are scared. Maybe the policeman will shoot them or something like that. That's the reason why.
Did he take part in the brutality of the military men? So he's also behind. So she's a resident of the community, and she just told us that the husband has also fled. And let's get your word, your name? Millicent. Millicent, tell us, where is your husband?
Right. We're going to have to come back to Latif shortly. We need to clean up that connection so you can hear the entirety of the conversation. So forgive us. We're going to fix that and bring you the entire conversation between Latif and those residents. But we still have Member of Parliament for the area, Madam Sophia Akuaku, Honourable Member of Parliament for Domia Bra. Madam, so tell us, at this point, as Member of Parliament, your residents, the voters, some of them are afraid to come home, hiding behind a mountain. What are you going to do to ensure their safety so they can return?
Honestly, most of them are in touch with me. Most of them are calling me that is it true that the truth have left Australia? And I keep on encouraging them that they have left. But honestly, I told them to take it easy. If you wait for a while, maybe around 4 o'clock, they can start coming. So I can assure you that they will come back. Some have gone far away. Not everybody that is behind the mountain. Most of them have gone to relatives at Manchester. Some have gone to Sudan. Some have gone to Accra. Some have gone to other places, other areas. Some went to Kaswa and other places. So it's not all of them that are behind the mountain. I don't think those who are even behind the mountains are many. A lot of them went to Amasama and the neighboring, communities. So I can assure you that some of them will come back. And some also came to Asalaja, Domia Bra, Hobo, and other areas. So they will definitely come back. And we are assuring them that everything is calm now. So we hope they will come back.
Right. Now, our reports are suggesting that the military is still missing one weapon. 2 weapons, they say, were seized or taken away from these soldiers by the mob 2 days ago, and they're still yet to account for one of them. Is there anything that you're seeking to do to assist in locating this weapon and having it returned?
I've been talking to the Pano chief, that's the chief electoral area, since yesterday concerning this weapon. So at least I'm privy with the information that they have retrieved some. But he has assured me that definitely they will get hold of the rest. And when they get it, they will give it back to the military men. So I think everything is in order.
I suppose that is in some way an indication that the people you are dealing with are indeed military. I know you had some doubts, but I suppose this weapon will reassure you that they are indeed military?
Well, I can't confess, since I haven't seen anything to show that they are military people. I haven't seen any idea, I haven't got any information, because normally when troops are being deployed to some place, you hear something on air, you see some kind of press release or statement or something, but we haven't seen anything of that sort.
Right.
So I cannot tell that it is really coming. And as of now, the military has not come out to give any statement. The army commander has not said anything. Nobody is talking. Everybody is quiet. So I cannot tell.
I want to thank you for your time, Madam Sophia Akuaku. Wish you the best. Okay, let's now go across and speak to Adib Sani. Mr. Sani is the Executive Director of Jati Case Center for Human Security and Peace Building. Very, very good to speak to you. Now, you are concerned about the here. This is ostensibly a land dispute which has generated all of this violence and counter-violence. And you're concerned about the role of the military in land matters. Talk to me about your concerns.
Much as I condemn, in no uncertain terms, the actions of some youth of the area when they attacked the 2 military officers, I also condemn the actions of some of the officers who have been deployed there to, as it were, retrieve the 2 weapons and to arrest the culprits who engaged in that activity. I have spoken with a number of persons on the ground who indicate that, and which has been confirmed by your reporter, that most of the young men have left the area. And when things degenerate towards this direction, it has the potential of jeopardizing the relationship between the civilian population and the military. I've always contended that without the civilians taking part in the security management process, the military, the police, immigration, customs, fire, prisons, none of these outfits would be able to do their work. So there's the need for us to ensure some level of accountability. It is an incontrovertible fact that in recent times we have had many reported cases of certain officers engaged in extra unofficial activities. I mean, a clear case in point is the young officer who, without recourse to proper procedure, was involved in that deadly accident with Ebony. There are situations where some estate developers and individuals are able to acquire the services of some officers to perform land guard activities. You see, the thing is the court system is not helping when it comes to land, because there can be a litigation case in court lasting as many years as 30, So usually people would want to use the crook methods to either protect their lands or to grab lands. Also, I think it is important taking some of these issues into consideration, so at least we ensure that level of accountability. Some time ago, I had this issue come before my desk about one microfinance engaging the services of the military to go after so-called stubborn debtors to claim their money. Some of these things is dragging the name of the military into disrepute. And I think going forward, it is important that when issues of this nature come up, instead of having the deputy defense minister jump into the bandwagon and defending left, right, center, we inquire deeper into it and see what mechanisms we can put in place to enhance the relationship between the civilians and the security agencies.
Speaking of solving the problem, finding the mechanism to put in place to solve the problem, how do you think it's happening in the first place? We know that the military, they work to a very strict chain of command. In fact, deploying military, within the borders of our nation is something that can only be authorized at the very highest levels of government. So can you explain to us how we've come to this point where military is now for private hire? How is it happening?
Well, the thing is, the military, just like any other human institution, will definitely have some few rogue elements, okay? It is, however, enhanced because of the lack of accountability. In the past, Kojo, anytime an officer is engaged in the wrong thing, there's always a tendency in the name of ensuring that there is proper morale, okay, in the name of ensuring that the security service is not dragged into disrepute, we sweep under the carpet the evidence, and in the end, we cover it up. And when it so happens, it motivates other officers to toe the same line, hoping that since Kofi did it and he was left off the hook, well, I also do it. nobody will do anything to me. And that is exactly what is happening. And unfortunately, it is creating some kind of a disconnect between the civilians and the military.
Right. I want to thank you for your time. Executive Director of Jatike, Mr. Adib Sani. No doubt this is a conversation that has only begun, so we'll talk more in the coming days. Thank you. God bless you. Right. Latif is still in the community, and you've been engaging some of these residents, talking about their husbands, brothers, sons, and so forth, who feel, well, unsure about the wisdom of returning home. What is the way forward? Do they feel confident that their men can come back now?
Two ladies here, one had a baby, one has a family back at home. What they are telling me is that for now, giving their husbands not less than a week to return home. For now, they are not sure whether the military men will be back within the community or they have permanently left the area. So they are not sure, and they are not going to put pressure on their husbands to return home following the assault and the confusion that ensued yesterday. But Kojo, you are looking at some remnants of food items. I see some eggs that have been crushed, tomatoes, sachet water, and rice, and some other items that have been destroyed during this violence between the youth of this area and the military. One of the things that has also come up, Kojo, is that the women are telling us that there is no police post within this community. The entire Farsa, there is not a single police post. They are telling us that that is what is giving this youth the courage to do what they do within the community. So if there should be a police presence, they wouldn't get the courage and the confidence to
about doing some of the things that they continue to perpetrate within the community.
Right. Well, Latif, I want to thank you for that comprehensive update. Latif will remain in the community. We'll be getting more reports from there as he interacts with the residents.